Hey there, this is Chad from Zombie Fight Shark, and today we are going to discuss drum programming and specifically making it sound better. We're going to go through some simple examples and just some very easy things to do to take your drum programming from very basic and sounding robotic to making it sound more human. And I'm using Spitfire Audio Labs drums today. So this is a free, you can go download that for free if you're interested in it. You like the sound of these drums. Here is a extremely straight drum loop, what you kind of want to avoid. Nothing, that's fine. It's fine. It's acceptable. It sounds like a drum machine. If you look at your velocity levels here, you have no variation in your velocity levels. Everything is like the default 100, I think is what it defaults to in Ableton. So you have the exact same velocity every hit, which means it's the same sample unless what you're using has round robin where it's rotating samples. But even then, it quickly starts to sound like a robot, like a drum machine. If I'm writing a drum beat, the very first thing that I do when I'm programming it, the very first thing I do is kind of humanize or almost randomize my volumes a little bit. So this is the same beat, and I've gone back and if you look at the hi-hats right here, then you see that their volume levels are, it's kind of little peaks and valleys. So there's accents. And so that sounds like this. So not a whole lot there. I didn't do much, but you can see that it very quickly humanized it, and it's still a little too straight. When it's too on the nose, you lose the feel. You don't have any kind of swing to it. It doesn't have as much life. I don't personally use this as much, but you see it and a lot of things. I've applied swing to the same beat, and it's pretty heavy in this example, just to illustrate the point. So just see what that sounds like. And this is the original velocity levels. I didn't adjust the velocity levels, and depending on what DAW you use, sometimes when you apply, say right over here on the over to the left, you can see the swing right here. I've applied it there, and sometimes on a DAW it will actually affect the velocity levels. That'll be part of the swing where it affects velocity levels. Some of them just affect the actual attack and the placement of the attack. So and again, this is a heavier use of it. Normally I use it very, very lightly in most things. But I wanted to just illustrate that if you apply swing to a standard beat, then you can get an unexpected result. Sometimes it's not a good unexpected result. Sometimes it's a great unexpected result. So that's another very simple thing that you can do in pretty much every DAW. I think everything's got that now. If you combine your velocity and changing your velocities and add a little bit of swing to something, then that sometimes will take a very bland drum beat and put it in a new category of something interesting. One other thing that I will do on occasion that I've found really humanizes, and this is a combination of things, but this really humanizes beats as well. I'll turn off the grid, like in Ableton. You can turn off the grid, so when you click to add notes in MIDI, it doesn't always snap exactly to the grid. It might be a little before, a little bit after, depending on where you click. In some DAWs, it's wherever you click is where it goes. Ableton still kind of snaps to the grid even when the grid's turned off. I didn't quantize the beat, You can see by the velocity levels, I've done different velocity levels here, and you can see like here's the grid, and so like I'm a little bit behind the beat there, and then so it's kind of it gives you a push and pull. So here's what that sounds like. So just to compare that to the other velocity beat, sounds like this. So that's a real subtle difference, and I think you can hear the difference, but it's subtle. When you're trying to take your beat from straight program robotic beat, you're looking to put it in a pocket, and the differences will be subtle going from one to the other. When you start adding your other instruments in, and all of these same principles apply, what I personally like to do is sometimes I will, as I'm programming a beat or I'm programming an instrument, I will think of like, well, if maybe this drummer plays ahead of the beat, or maybe this drummer plays behind the beat, and if you apply that thinking to the entirety of your drum track, then it actually starts to really sound like a player is performing it, especially when you have really high quality samples. I hope that these very simple tricks have helped you, and if you'd like to hear more of this type of thing, just let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. You know how all that stuff goes. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.